How do you address the climate and ecological crisis we're in? It's easy to dismiss plans to get to net zero by 2050 as a pipe dream. I'm Tim Bale, Professor of Politics at Queen Mary University of London, and I'm keen to understand whether our innovations could help save planet Earth. So I sat down with a few of my colleagues to find out. So Chris, could you tell us a little bit more about your research and how it fits into the climate change agenda?
My area of work focuses on the health effects of air pollution, particularly in cities, and particularly the health effects on children, the development of health and development of young children.
And what do you think has helped make your research such a success?
What's helped it make a success, I think, is the engagement with the public, particularly, for example, with groups like Mums for Lungs, which is a health advocacy, public health advocacy group. So it's a simple message that we produce from our results that air quality was stunting children's lung growth. If you're a mother and you've got young children, it's as simple as that. You know, that is something that cannot happen to my children. So it's a message that really engaged sections of the public, and they influence, in turn, public opinion, particularly lobbying people in central government in London to influence the ultra-low emission zone. So it really has engaged the public.
And do you think your work can be scalable?
Absolutely, it's scalable. I think there isn't really a city on the planet that doesn't have poor traffic-related air pollution, air quality. So the work that we're doing showing that hopefully improving air quality does the opposite, improves children's brain growth and lung development. You know, that's a message, that's a public health intervention that can be applied to any city across the planet, whether it's the UK, Europe. Europe's quite good at low emission zones, but other continents, there's huge scope for interventions. Africa, Southern America, North America. There isn't a continent that doesn't suffer from poor air quality in cities.
Recently, the government has rowed back on net zero. Has that made you feel more pessimistic about the UK's contribution on climate change, in particular, obviously, its leadership in the world?
Yes, it has. And I would say it's redoubled our commitment and dedication, enthusiasm to get the work done and bring the evidence to the public. I think as independent scientists, you know, there's not much more that we can do than produce the best evidence we can with the most robust methods and interpret it such that it's easily understood by politicians, by the public and so forth, and thereby influence policy and, you know, what happens in towns and cities.
Does any of this ever get you down?
You know, I think this is a challenge for pretty much scientists everywhere, is how to produce the results in an interpretable way to make a difference. That's our challenge, but I think that if we do that right, then that cuts through apathy.
We've got COP28 coming up. What are your hopes and your expectations for that conference?
My hopes for COP28. I think COP is a fantastic coming together of people who are passionate about doing the right thing for the planet. So, put simply, I would say that we need to move in this COP from agreements to action.
So we've got this goal of meeting net zero by 2050. We've got the Sustainable Development Goals. How do you feel about how progress is going on those?
I think that people's experience of climate change, I think, is such that I don't think that a view which means that we can take our foot off the accelerator in terms of cleaning the air, having a healthy environment, focusing on children's development and growth. I think that in the next years, people will realise that these are absolute necessities and not something that can be, you know, hoped for without without focused action.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for coming in and telling us about your research, and good luck with it in the future.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.